G'day guys. So we're going to change it up a bit now. We're going to look at the T37 American lightweight tank. It's actually in the new branch of the American line, and it sort of falls in between one of those funny places in the tech tree where they've sort of like just branched out and made another line that's continuing from the Stuart, the M5 Stuart, right through to the T54E1. So, from this perspective, what we're looking at is here on Mines, I'm shooting across to the right. This is a Tier 6 tank in a Tier 7 match, so some fairly heavy hitters here. And one thing I've noticed about this tank playing it straight away is it reminds me a lot of a Pershing. Um, you know, it's not a bad tank. I think there's much better tanks in this tier than this tank. Like the VK 2801, for instance, is just runs rings around it. Even uh, the Cromwell is a better tank than this thing. It doesn't mean it's not effective, but what I've found, you have to really play it the right way, or it will be quite unforgiving. The biggest problem is the actual armor itself is pretty average. You're looking at you know 900 hit points, 25 millimeters of pen on your front, 25 on the sides, 19 on the rear. And look, there's other guys, other contributors and things like that have gone right through this thing and looked at it from top to tail. I'm not going to really bore you on that. What I'm going to do is basically trying to give you some idea of how I play it. And at the moment I'm running about 58% win rate in the tank, which is not overly outstanding. It's all right. But you see, one of the strategies that I use in it is constantly resetting your camo, and obviously being a light tank, that allows you to scoot on through and move around a fair bit while you're not detected, because your camo holds in a light tank, so long as it's not proximity alerting, which is sort of means you're too close to another tank. The gun on it is fairly good, so long as you give it some time to actually um, uh, aim. If you're not letting it to aim, you're not letting that bloom come right in, you can run the risk of missing. But you have a look at this next shot here. I think it's this shot here. I hit the hatch from 260 meters away. That is unbelievable. So when the guns actually aim right in, it's really good. You will find that in terms of up against tier 7, you're going to have to put a lot of shots in to make sure you pen the tier 7 tanks. But that's a pretty much of a wrap in this game. We win this game fairly easily, and we contributed. I mean, we didn't set any records. We didn't get any masteries or anything like that, but we contributed, and that's all you really need to do in a game like this. I come close to a mastery in this tank. I haven't got one yet. And 1500 damage, that's pretty decent out of a tier 6 tank. And here again, on this in this game here, which is good old Fort Despair, um, you know, there's only two ways you can really go in this map. Although some people do like to go up through the center. In a tank with 25 mil armor, you're not going to go charging up through the middle. So I was trying to get a slide over it, then just wouldn't do it either. So I think a light tank should be able to drift, shouldn't? Don't you? I mean, seriously. Um, so again, coming back to the tank, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to spot the enemy and see where they are before I poke my nose out too far. And I'm only ever exposing my turret if I can. Because what you're going to do is, if you expose more than that, you're giving yourself a real good chance to be completely wrecked. And if you make a mistake in this tank, what I found is you pay for it. You really do pay, like that guy just did there. He's popped out right in the open there, no cover. And for a T37, that's just absolute suicide. So you don't want to be doing that. You want to keep yourself sort of behind cover, resetting your camo, then moving. Because as we sort of mentioned before, that's going to give you the best chance of staying hidden And therefore, what it's likely to do is give you a better chance of not being hit yourself. And all intensive purposes, that's going to give you a better fighting chance. What's the point of sticking yourself out there in the middle and getting wrecked completely? Like what I found with the gun too, standard shell, 120 to 200 mil damage. Average damage, um, is reasonable on your AP. It's not something that you want to sort of look at. 160 in your AP, 135 is your pen. So it's not going to do huge amounts of damage each time. You just got to keep chipping away. And look, I'm using the 76mm T91 gun, and I'm not using the auto loader, which is the 76mm T102. I just think that the reload time between shells of 2.5 seconds is just counterproductive. I just don't think in a tank that's this fragile, you've got time to sit there and wait around for 2.5 seconds while they get another aim and another shot at you, or potentially get hit from another target. So I actually haven't run that gun. I have seen it used in battle, and it wasn't too bad. But you're never going to last to the end of a match if you keep running around just taking hit points and trading hit points with other people, because, like I said, even things like the VK2801 will just run rings around you. Any of those German tanks with their really good guns are going to do some major damage to you. Even this Tier 5 still could have really wrecked me hard then. And it's one of those things. Another game that we won here, and as you'll see by the stats, again, we didn't set the world on fire, but it was a decent match. We did another 1200 odd damage. Obviously, the KV2 there, he's done a great job. You expect that from a KV2 in a game like this. If he's on fire, he's going to give you a good roll. Now this one in good old Canal. Now this one here shows you some of the really good attributes of a light tank. We've pushed down here on the right, which is, again, it's one of those maps where you either go right or left. And in this case, the mediums, we've all gone right. VK's pushed over the top, as is the other T37. I'm hanging back because I know their whole team could just be over that ridge and no one's spotted anyone yet. So I don't want to just go charging out there and run into a whole wall of guns in a tank that's this fragile. So you can see I'm just popping my head out now. You notice I've not been spotted yet I'm able to put some damage in. Look, there's one shot. No light bulbs come on. They're focusing all on those guys up front, and I'm just looking for targets. I'm looking where I can put some shots in. And at the moment I'm keeping my eye on the map too, because there's still a whole bunch of tanks on their team that haven't been spotted, and they've just knocked off one of our guys, PZ, so I'm thinking to myself, something's going to happen. Now I get spotted, obviously, because I've taken a tank out and I've poked my nose out a bit far. So I wanted to knock that tank off while I could, because that's the main thing with this game. If you're knocking tanks off, that's less guns that are going to be pointed at you. So you see what's happened here. A couple of the heavies have pushed up through the middle here. So I'm thinking I'm going to really push down this left flank here, and then I see this T34 coming up. So I keep pushing past him because I don't want to have a hit trading, front on battle. Without my knowledge of VK2801's coming at me though, and he's spotted me and he's low on points, but I drill him into the side and it gives me enough time. I back away with my nose facing him. I don't want him to hit my rear, and I take him out of the game. And again, because the light tank was I could just get so much distance away, all these tanks with really strong front armor, it just gave me an opportunity to shoot at the rear of them. And, I was able to dispatch the M4, and, we're just now able to just sit back and, not lose any more points, not lose any more hit points. And we've whittled them down to 2. They're going to take care of that last KV. And now there's the poor old Nashorn. He's just sort of, flopping around over there in the distance, going, what happened to my team? And look, that's the wrap-up of this tank. As you look at it and we start looking through, again, I think we just did another, yeah, we did another 1100 in that game, but we killed 3 tanks and we took very little damage. So that's what you've got to do in this tank: try and make damage and not take damage. And I know that's an old analogy, but it's so true, especially in this tank. You get it wrong and you will pay. There's that auto-loaded gun that I was telling you about, but I just don't run that T102. It doesn't do any good for me at all. And if you're looking through, once the tank's fully upgraded, that's the performance of it. I'm not going to worry about equipment. No one's got spare parts when you're climbing through a tech tree now to even put equipment on tanks. So you have the basic stuff and that's it now. You've got, you see there I'm running vents, I'm running crew and I think binoculars. So in terms of rounds, I always run a couple of premium rounds of those since they've sort of, again, nerfed them. It's not really worthwhile anymore, so you don't bother with that. And obviously provisions. You do want to get your provisions going because it does make a big difference to the tank. So hope you enjoyed the vid. Hope you enjoyed this tank, and hopefully I'll see you out there on the battlefield. And yeah, get into it and have some fun.